Welcome to Ninox Essential Series. In this video, we will learn about for-in loop. Sometimes we repeat a particular code statement to solve a problem until a specific condition is satisfied. This is known as iteration, which allows us to write code once and execute many times. In computer programming, iteration is often referred to as looping because instead of repeatedly writing the same code, we can execute the same code a finite number of times. Iteration provides code reusability and simplifies steps of problem solving. By the end of the tutorial, you will be one step further in efficiently automating your business processes. Let us start. We have prepared a table for-in loop with two fields, invoice number and invoice. Our invoice number field is empty and we want to add the invoice number to each of our invoices. This is a perfect example of where the for-in loop comes in. We have created a button and written a code that will populate the invoice number field for all of our invoices with only one click. We want this loop to repeat once for every invoice record. In our case, since we have 10 records, we want this loop to cycle 10 times, and each time we want to increment the number starting with 1. And this is exactly why we have on the first line of code variable mynum1. On the second line of code, the loop begins with the name of the loop, for, and it's always in lowercase. Then we define a variable I. This variable is used as a counter. The for statement initializes the structure and brings to life this variable. For-in loops through the properties of an array. After in, we are specifying that array. In our case, it's a table for-in loop. And what it does then? For every count of the selection, it will now point to the record we have specified, so the invoice number, which is currently an empty field that needs to be filled. And the value of the field is equal to the value of the variable myname, which we have specified in the first line of code. So we start by initializing the loop variable to some value and checking whether the loop condition is true or not. If the loop condition is true, code inside the loop body will execute. After this loop, execution will move to the next iteration by incrementing the loop variable. This step will be repeated till the loop condition becomes false, or until there are no more records to loop through. Okay, so let us see our for-in loop in action. So let's press our button. And here it is, our invoice number for all the records. It's not empty anymore. Amazing! So in this video, we'll learn about looping structures, or to be more accurate, for-in loop. This is one of the few looping structures we can use to automate our processes. When pressing a button, we now know what is the basic flow of the loop execution. Loop condition will be evaluated first. If the loop condition is true, then loop body will run, and loop variable gets updated, increment or decrement operation. The loop body will run as long as the loop condition will be true. When loop condition becomes false, we exit the loop and continue with the further code instructions. More loops in action will be demonstrated in our next tutorials. For more information, you can always consult our documentation. Congrats!
Ninox.